Okay, so just a few slides. While we're waiting for everyone to get into the meeting. Welcome. I hope you are all here. As I said, we're coming off of a 3-day weekend. So I know some of the students had class today. Some of them are probably having a hard time getting up after being able to sleep in for 3 days. It is summer break for all of our current students. And so those who do join us will be doing this as a favor to me to take time out of their summer schedule to join us. So can you hear me? I'm not muted, am I? Is everybody good? Can everyone hear me? Okay, great. All right. So, university services. We're going to talk a little bit more about this as we go. We're going to have one webinar that's dedicated to all of the services that are available here on the campus. There are a lot of things going on, a lot of support for the students who come. It is up to you to seek it out. Professors will let you know if they feel you are struggling, but here in America, we have the idea that our students are independent in their learning. And so the professors are there for you to ask for guidance. They will gladly help you if you ask. They will not seek you out and, like in high school, say that you're not doing well and that you need to go to the student services, you need to go to the tutoring center. They will not do that. This is up to you as the student, as an adult. You take responsibility for your learning. So we do have a lot of services. We have the library. In the library, we have tutoring services. The writing center are there. Athletics is a great thing. We have a lot of international athletes. We're going to talk about that in a minute. The campus rec center is there, free to students to use. There's all kinds of facilities in the rec center. Across the hall from the rec center is the health center, also for students to use. Activities. Here in our office, we try to plan activities. This is one of some of the pictures we took about a year and a half ago. We took some students to Nashville. There is a very famous milkshake shop there, milkshake shop. Hard to say on a Tuesday morning. They are very, very rich, as you can tell. That has the chocolate on the outside. But it is good. It's very famous for the Nashville area. And so we do try to take the students. The other picture is the Grand Ole Opry, is very famous here in America. There's a couple of really famous theaters. We have the Country Music Hall of Fame in Nashville. We have a lot of activities, a lot of things to do in Nashville. So we try to introduce our students to a lot of the things here in Nashville and in Murfreesboro. Orientation, this is something you will have after you've arrived on campus, generally the first, probably the week before classes start. What we try to do is bring all of our vendors from campus. So we bring health services come, the writing center comes, tutoring services come, housing comes, food services come. All of those areas of the university that you will be using when you arrive, they come. They have a table. The staff is there to ask questions. They will give you pamphlets, just introducing you to what they do for you on campus when you arrive. And so this is also a chance for our continuing students and our new students to get to know each other. A lot of you are asking us for contact information to a current student from the Bahamas, a current student from Nigeria, from Ghana, from India. We do not give the personal information to our students. If you give us permission, we will give you their information, their contact information, but we do not give their information to you because they will be just inundated with different kinds of messages, and their first purpose is to study. And so this is a good event for everyone to get to know each other. Staff comes, all of our staff in the office, we are all required to be there. And so you get to ask us and pick our brains about things you need to know. Athletics, as I said, we have a lot of international athletes here on campus. Our men's tennis team is entirely international students. Our women's tennis team is about half. Our women's basketball, about a quarter. We have one new international basketball player on the men's team, which I'm very excited about. We have an international athlete, I believe, on every single team except for maybe two. And we're working on those. But the coaches do recruit internationally, and they are a very good recruiter for our office. And so we try to do an event with every sport to where we celebrate the international athletes. The top picture is the women's tennis. The bottom picture on the right-hand side is the men's tennis, and on the left is the soccer, women's soccer. And so we try to do this for every sport and that we have international students represented. Okay, housing, just a quickie on housing. We did a webinar on housing. Housing, if you want to do housing, you need to contact them directly. Housing right now is waitlisted, so if you are thinking you want to get into housing and you've been admitted, get that started right now. Food services and the dining and meal plans. Even if you're not living on campus, you can buy a meal plan for the times that you're on campus. Our staff really likes McAlley's. So we will often go to McAlley's for lunch if we're going to have lunch together as a staff. MTSU is very famous for our chocolate milk. We have a Starbucks on campus. So we have little pods, like little convenience stores that are all around campus. So we do have a lot of availability for the students. Yeah, and you don't have to be living on campus to use this. You know, the staff uses it quite frequently. Graduation. When our international students are graduating, when they finish their degree program here at the university, we have our own little celebration for them. The bottom right-hand picture shows the hall that we use when we do graduation. The picture is 3 of the students who graduated. And then on the left-hand side, the students are able to take the flags that we have and go out and take pictures. And there's a beautiful courtyard right outside where we do our graduation ceremony, a celebration ceremony. And so the students are able to take the flags outside and take pictures with their country's flag. So we really do have a good time during this event. So we do this every semester minus summer. Okay, so I see I could. Can you at least open your mic? Hi, there she is. Well, I have to give you a little background. Is one of our student workers in our office. And she is, how long has it been now? Over a year, right?
Yes, with the employment, yeah.
Yeah, she has learned so much. And so we know that if Ikut's on the phones, she has a lot of answers that she can field and answer directly because she has learned so much and she's just very good. We are very sad that she's going on an internship this summer, so we will try to survive without her. But no, she'll be back in the fall. And so it's a very big part of our office. And she just celebrated a birthday, which some of us missed because we had a meeting. I'm sorry. I wanted to say that by the time I got out of the meeting, I think you were gone. Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, there it goes. Okay. All right. So I'm going to have you introduce yourself, and then I'm going to have John introduce himself. And then if any of our other students have gotten on the call, if you can also chime in and introduce yourselves. I'm actually not seeing them on the call. But go ahead, why don't you introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about you, and then John, you do it from there, and then we will go into questions.
Sure. Yep. My name is Ike Erie. I'm a rising senior, so I'm going into my 4th year undergrad as a finance student. I also do a minor in accounting and data science, and I'm originally grew up in Japan. I moved when I was 13, so it's been how long? 7 to 8 years in the United States. So maybe some of the experiences are different there with some of you guys coming into the United States as a freshman in college or even as a graduate student, as an adult. But I hope I have a lot of experiences with living in the US that I could share with you guys. And I'm really excited to be here today. So I will just hand over to John and see how he is doing.
Hi, I'm John Swalford. I am a new member of the International Affairs team. I graduated here with my master's very recently, and I've actually lived here in Murfreesboro for most of my life.
Okay, I just found Guingxi, you're here? Hello, hello, I see your name. I don't know, are you muted? Or you didn't hear me? Any other of our students who said they would be on this meeting? I see you. I don't see Lasanje. She said she would come. Okay, let me find him and poke him. Okay. Okay. Wait a minute, I got people in the waiting room. Okay. All right, we're going to put, okay, his mic doesn't work. Okay. All righty, so we're going to do the questions. If you can put your questions in the chat. I am going to read the question and then I could, and John and I and Wingxi will answer them best we can. I still don't see Lasanje, so if she joins us, she can start answering questions as well. So put your questions in the chat. And we're going to let I could answer the first one. No questions? Okay, he just put his introduction in the chat. Good morning, I'm Qingxi. I am a junior at MTSU. I'm learning Pro Pilot and UAS. UAS unmanned. Is that the drone? Yes. So we have a program at the aerospace for drones, which is relatively new. So he's also doing that in addition to Pro Pilot. Yes, unmanned aircraft systems. Good, because I didn't get it. Okay, any other questions? I know you guys have questions. What is the best part about MTSU? I could. What is the best part of?
Best part. I think there's a lot that could be said here, but one of the main thing that I do like as a student is a variations with its student organizations. Um, MTSU can be considered a commuter school, which means a lot of the students do not live on campus. They live outside of campus, which means a lot of them just do come and go. So it is mostly your own responsibility to be engaged with other students throughout class projects or student organization, again, which is a big part of my experience in MTSU. As a business student, I am in two business organizations called DECA and also FMA, Financial Management Association. And I've had multiple experiences being able to travel in the United States in cities like New York, Austin, Texas, or even projecting to go to San Francisco, California next year throughout all these student organizations. And not just with a variations in topics, there are a lot of international clubs that students can join because we do have, again, very diverse population of students. So even if this might be a new land and environment for you, you'll be able to find your own group of people that you will find comfort in, which you might find beneficial as international students.
Okay, Guingxi, anything to add? If you want to type it in the chat, then I will read it out loud. People can see it, but I'll read it for those who don't have chat up. Okay, he says living on campus is a great option as you can take part in the school's recreation activities as much as you want. Yeah, that is true. Living on campus is good. I mean, right now it's difficult to find a room on campus, but living on campus is fun. As I could said, it tends to be a commuter campus, and so a lot of the students do commute back and forth, or they're local. They're in the state of Tennessee and they go home on the weekend. But the university has really done a lot to try to put activities either during the week or on Friday evening so those students can stay over and enjoy the athletics. So we do have a lot of games, athletic games during the week, and then almost every weekend there's a football somewhere or basketball or something. So they do try to the schedule item things events so the students can join. The big event coming up in the fall will be, last year we had the Zubash. It's a big event that the university has to welcome the new students. I have another question. What is a typical day in MTSU? It's a good one. It sounds like an interview question. Could you have an answer for that? What is a typical day? As a student, what is your typical day like?
Sure. So most of the class schedule at MTSU is goes by twice a week, at least for most of the business classes that I've taken. It's usually Monday and Wednesday or Tuesday and Thursday classes. Some of them do go Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, but those again is your own option to take those to see how that fits with your schedule. But if I commute to school, so that means I don't live on campus, I live outside of campus, which is around 20 minutes drive. So maybe around 9 or 10, I'll get ready and drive to school, and I'll get there by 11, let's say, and that's where when most of my classes starts at business, Jones College of Business. Then the classes are usually, I believe it's 85 minutes, so 1 hour and a little bit. So I will usually do max of three classes a day. I don't try to go over that because that seems overwhelming to me personally. But again, that's your own preference. And I should be done with most of the classes by at least by 5 o'clock, let's say. Some of the majors do have night classes that start at 6 or 7 p.m. But I try to take morning or afternoon classes at least. And then my nighttime typically typically with club meetings, like I said. We have NECA meetings that we held twice a month, which is 6 p.m. on Thursdays. And we have a FMA meetings that we have every Tuesdays on weekly. So I should be done by classes by, let's say, 3 or 4. Then my night will consume with my organization meetings.
Thank you. A lot of for those of you who are new at the undergrad level, your advisor will help you schedule your classes. So I has been here a while, so she knows how to look at the schedule and fit her classes together. If she wants afternoon classes because she commutes, or if she's on campus, maybe she'd like to get all her classes in the morning. She knows how to navigate the schedule. When you're new, we don't expect you to know how to do that. If you're an undergraduate student, so your advisor will help you know that, yes, this class is happening at 8 to 9:30 on Tuesdays and Wednesday, or Tuesdays and Thursdays. You have another class that's Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Okay, great. Those two fit together. What they will try to also do is make sure you don't have a conflicting schedule. So you try to schedule 2 classes at the same time on the same days. But some of that falls on you. When you're here, when you get to know the schedules and you can get the course catalog, you will understand how the lingo, how the schedule, how it works. But mostly your advisors will guide you to the classes that you need to take. Okay, I-20 questions. I am putting your name on a notepad. I'm not answering questions on I-20s. This is not about I-20s. This one's about student services. Okay, how many credits total in healthcare informatics program from the first semester subjects? Okay. So I could, do you know how many credit hours for your major total, start to finish?
So the whole, just as an MTSU degree, I believe you have to have at least 120
Mhm.
hours for you to graduate. With my finance, I might be able to look into it here through our pipeline, but it shouldn't be too something really crazy. Um, If student would also like to look into it, there should be a detailed requirements on the each major website, but okay, I can see it here. So for finance, it's a 27 credits. So that means if we consider every class to be around 3, then that's like 8 to 9. That's nine classes that you have to at least take. And in addition to that, you will have general educations, which is like your English, math, science classes, which could take up most of your freshman and sophomore year. Then your junior and your senior year, what consists are your most of your major classes. But yeah, 27 probably for business classes, business majors, and 120 for MTSU students. But that might be different for like, for example, computer science or maybe something more STEM majored, but I'm not really sure on that one. But at least for business students, yeah, 27.
Yeah, basically she's right. 120 is usually what is required for a degree at the undergrad. And so that generally takes 4 years. Again, depends if you go in the summer, you're going to do it in less than 4 years. If you don't go in the summer and you're taking 12 credit hours per semester, it's going to generally take you 4 years, given that you haven't failed a lot of courses and you need to be repeating those courses. That's the general idea. So when we issue the I-20, we usually give you 8 semesters to finish the degree because we do not count summers. Now, that is an optional semester. As I could mention, it changes. I see a lot of questions on specific programs and first year programs. If you go out to the MTSU website, and every major has I'm pretty sure I'm writing every major. If you get into the website for your major, and then you look at the degree program plan, it gives you a full 4-year plan of exactly what they recommend you take first semester, second semester, third semester. So it's already out there. You just have to go look and find it on your MTSU website for your major. And I've said it before, that is the first place you're going to go for information specifically about your major. At the grad level, all of your requirements are out there on the website, very clearly written, so you know exactly what you need to have in order to have a full application at the grad level. At the undergrad level, it will give you exactly first semester, I think you're going to take this. Second semester, we recommend you take this. So it's out there, all of this information. I could has put something in the chat for professional science. Thank you, I could. There's one more about computer science. Can you put that in the chat? And business analytics. That may be closer up to what you have. Okay, yeah, go ahead. Somebody's talking.
So to kind of add on to that also, if I put a link in the chat for all the different programs. Within each program, you can find contact information for, a lot of times it's an advisor in the requirements section for each program. They can give you more information about the program, what's required, and then also remember that you select how many hours you enroll in each semester. So how many hours you take in the first couple semesters depends on how many you register for. It depends on your overall degree plan, how many hours you want to take, whether you want to take summer or not, like Cindy said, because those are optional to complete it. It's not set up in a way to say that you attend these classes your first year, these classes your second year, these your third, and then in 4 years you're done. There's a lot more flexibility where you kind of make the determination for what your schedule looks like each semester.
Yeah, good point. I know in different parts of the world, and I know I lived in Japan. So in Japan, everybody studies the same subject at the same time. You may have your major, but everybody in that major, you start at the same time, you study the same. And if you want to change your major, you typically change your university. In America, as John said, there's a lot of flexibility. It's not unusual for our international students and any student to come and think, oh, great, I want to do this. And then they get into studying it and they're like, yeah, no, that's not for me. I'm going to change my major. They do this all the time. At the undergrad level, it's before you come, if you want to change your major, you let us know. We're going to change it. We're going to reissue that I-20 with the new major. After you've arrived, you talk to your advisor. I've had students go from one complete college, maybe they're in basic and applied, and they change completely over the healthcare. No problem. The advisors will help you do that. At the master's level, it's a little more difficult to be changing your degree program in the middle because it's more specific. It's a shorter period of time. And so this is something you need to do a change of degree form. And I have one question in there who says they're trying to change their program. And my answer would be, number one, did you file that form? Did you let the master's, the graduate, the international grad, did you ask them about changing the form? Did you complete the form and turn it into the email address at the bottom of the form? That's your first step. And then you have to get admitted into that program. So changing at the undergrad is is simple. Changing at the grad, you still have to get admitted into that program. It's not simple at the grad level. So if you're asking for the degree change of the program at the grad level, give it a little bit of time because we don't do that in our office. All we do is recommend you be admitted to this new program. The department has to make their decisions. Good morning. I want to know that the international students, do we need English exam qualifications to get into the university? Absolutely. Depends on where you're from. If English is one of your official languages in your country, then we do not require English proficiency exams. If it is not one of the official languages in your country, then we do need English proficiency. So if you have a question on specifically with your country, you need to send us an email. We have, I don't even think we have a complete list on our website. We leave it as, is English one of the official languages in your country? Then no, we do not need English proficiency. If you have a question, please email us because we need to get all of the documents before we can decision an application. Can you explain about the CLEP? And if I consider it for my first year, my major is biology, physiology. If you can do the CLEP, yeah, we do accept some CLEP courses, exams for credit. That is not done in our office. That's done by the department. And I think on the MTSU undergraduate admissions website, they do give you what CLEP tests are accepted. I know there's still a discussion going on about this. So yeah, and I could put the link in. So there is information on the website. You have to dig into it and find it. Good morning. I'm finding it difficult to register for my courses. If you are a graduate, you need to get with your academic advisor. If you are an undergraduate, you will not be able to register for classes until you have, number one, taken the placement test and the English survey. And number two, you have to have attended customs. And our first customs is June 10th. So most of our undergrads have not been able to register yet. There are a few who have been able to get in and talk to an advisor, but most of you will begin to register after you've attended customs and after you've taken the placement test and the English survey. And yes, the English survey is required. It is not English proficiency. This is an English survey that places you in the English test here at the university. So it is absolutely required. Okay, MTSU is notorious, notorious situation. So South African universities are often extreme. The answer is affirmative. If your answer is affirmative, what does it? We do not have incidences on campus. I don't remember, though I do remember, but it had nothing to do with the students. It was a worker. But we don't have any problems with our students. The university is pretty good about everybody's equal. We respect people from different countries. We are not going to focus on political issues. So I would say, since I've been here for 5 years, I have not seen an incident that I would say was dangerous to the student body. Even in the city of Murfreesboro, I have seen nothing happen. I've been on campus at 9 o'clock at night, and I've had no trouble walking to my car. And the police are here. If you are in a building at the library late at night and you're not comfortable walking to your car or walking to your dorm, call the campus police. They will come and escort you to your car, to your building. They are here all the time, late at night. I almost got a ticket because I was parked my car when we were moving. They were here all the time. And so I feel perfectly safe on campus. I don't think you have anything to worry about. Great. Qingxi put our English proficiency levels in the chat. And nursing and professional pilot. Yes, if you have professional pilot and nursing, your English requirements are a little bit higher. And good, John's put out degree programs. As a graduate student, how easy is it to work with your professor? Yes, I'm going to say to the graduate question, is it easy? Does he or she work through the steps of research? Or does they allow you to work on your research individual? I'd say yes to both of those. They will guide you if you need the guidance. If you don't need the guidance and you're able to handle it independently, they will let you do it independently. Remember, you are responsible for your education here in the United States. If you do not take responsibility, no one will do it for you. Do you work on projects that have already been developed, or do you create your own? I would say probably a little of both. I don't know specifically. That'd be a good question for your department and your academic advisor. What are some things to avoid or common mistakes in the first year? I would say the first one is taking too many credit hours. I do not recommend you take more than 12 if you're an undergraduate student. At the graduate student, you have to take at least 9 credit hours. 6 have to be on campus. More than that is up to you. I think some students think that they can handle it, and then they realize that reading in a second language is a little more difficult than they anticipated. Try to remember that if you are coming from a country that does not use English as their native language, or it is only part of your native language, you speak one language at home and one language in school, then you're not going to be as strong as in English as an American student coming into university. So give yourself a little bit of grace. Don't take an overloaded schedule your first semester. Get your feet under you. You're dealing with a different culture, different people. You're away from your family. You have a lot of things going on that you're not fully aware of. That culture shock, there is a real thing about culture shock. Having lived in a foreign country for many, many years, culture shock is not something that you get over in 6 months. It takes years to get over. So if you're here for 2 years or 4 years, you're still adjusting. Even when you graduate, you're doing pretty good, but you're still dealing with culture shock the entire time you're here in the United States. So keep that in mind when you're scheduling classes and you're judging yourself. As an international student, could you speak more about just what it's like adapting to US culture? Okay, a little bit of history. I lived in Japan for 28 years. There's very few countries that are as different as Japan. Yes, it's a modern country, but the language, the culture is so different from America. And it was not an easy ride. I was raising a family at the same time. And so I would say give yourself some grace. Be patient with yourself. Don't try to change. Don't expect it to be your home country. It isn't. And you're not going to change America. We are the way we are, all of our good habits and bad habits. The key is to just take what you can take, change what you can change, find your little things that help you through homesickness and our comfort foods, comfort things, music, a special, I don't know, for me it was sheep because I grew up on a sheep farm. Just little things that are a comfort to you. Find a restaurant, find food, find something that brings a little bit of home to you. You'll be fine. I'm here if you need to talk, having done it. I scored 80 in the Duolingo. Is acceptable levels. So do I have to write again? You need to go back and look at Guingshi's his answer. He's got it there. So I'm going to let you answer yourself. Okay, I'm answering that one about changing. I contacted the international office to fill out the form. Okay, I'm going to tell you right now, John and I are the only ones in the office. This is the national conference for international education this week. So the rest of the staff, how many? 7 of them are out of the office this week. So I would say not much is going to happen this week. We will do the best we can do to get emails answered, but it's going to be this week. We're asking for a lot more grace than we normally do. We are also still short-staffed, just overall. We've been short-staffed for months. We're fixing that. We are not sitting here not doing anything. We are working. So please be patient. I will get to as many as I'm taking notes on today as I can. Okay, are you also taught to speak in American accent? Can you be taught the American national anthem as we are taught the US, its symbols and cultures? You will pick that stuff up naturally. If you go to events, we start most events with the national anthem. You will go home after a year or two, you will go home and people will say, wow, you speak like an American. And if you talk to somebody from England, they'll say, oh, you have an American accent. You do pick that up naturally. It's not something that we're going to teach you. The longer you stay, the longer you interact with American students. And this is why I could said is really good. You need to get out there and meet people. The sooner you do, the easier you are as adjusting to American culture, making friends, getting a support system. You will normally learn. You will learn American accent. You will learn our habits. You will learn our little innuendos, our humor. Once you get humor, humor is one of the last things you learn when you're learning a second language. Once you get humor, you're pretty good in the English language. And I know John has said I'm a little sarcastic. I do like to tease my students when I get to know them because this is an important part of American culture. My son, both of my children were born and raised in Japan. And in Japan, American humor is not part of the culture. And so my kids, when they came to America, they had to learn American culture. They had to learn the humor. They had to learn that people tease them. And it was a little difficult for my son. He got a little angry, but it's really important to learn to really get to know American culture. We do love our humor. Thank you. We got information in the chat about the rec center. Ooh, swimming lessons. I did miss that question. Other than academics, are there life skills you can learn? Can you learn how to dive? Oh, I think I think they have a diving board. Can you learn to swim on campus? And Lingxi has put your answer in there. Perfect. That I didn't know. Yeah, I know some of our staff's children do swimming lessons in the summer, but I did not know you have staff. That's wonderful. I got registered in MTSU. Want to know that did we take the English exam to get into, because from India, I want to know about the scholarship. Okay. If you got admitted to the university, and again, up until Saturday morning, I issued some more scholarships. If you were admitted just the last few days, I have not sent out the scholarship. If you did not get a scholarship form, it might be because your GPA was not to the level for both grad and undergrad. From India, we do not require English proficiency to get into the university. You are expected to take the English survey to place you into your English courses here at the university. Okay, swimming lessons we handled. For part-time jobs, how about finding part-time jobs in campus? What would be the costs that they're incurred for completing BS and MS programs? Okay, on the MTSU website, on the we call I don't always go to MT One Stop. John knows this answer better than anybody. There's a lot of information there that will give you the cost of attendance. Generally, it depends on how many credit hours you registered for. It also depends on what program you're in. If you're an aerospace pro pilot like Wingshi, you have a lot of other costs that are associated with the flight program. Each pro pilot license has additional cost. So that is one of the very expensive programs. Nursing is another one that might have a really expensive program. I could has put the link in the chat. I would go there and look around. There are a lot of part-time jobs available on campus. The part-time jobs on campus are not intended to help you pay for tuition, and they do not cover your total cost of living. They are intended to give you extra income, to your incidentals, to go when you want, if you want an extra book, you need paper, you need pencil, you want to eat out with your friends. Those are what you're talking about when you're employed on campus. It does not cover the cost of attendance. In MTSU is not what we call a work study campus to where you work and you pay for your tuition. No, it's not that. Tuition and on-campus employment is two completely different things. How good are the dorms at MTSU? Will students get a separate room? You can opt for a separate room. You can opt for a shared room. You can opt for a apartment. We do have apartments on campus where you share with three other people. You share the living room and you have your own bedroom. It's a variety. Again, go to housing where Guangxi has put the link in the chat. Go to housing, look around. They have pictures, they have the layout diagrams for the dorms. You have all the information, the cost, if you will share, if you'll be independent, alone in the room. Again, if you're going to be alone in a room, it's going to cost more than if you share. The apartments cost more than the regular dorms. So we have recently taken a couple of dorms offline. So housing is filling up very, very quickly. If you have not put an application in for housing and you've been accepted, go and do the housing application because it's on a wait listed right now. The sooner you get on the list, the better your chances of getting a place on campus. Do you really teach swimming? I didn't know that. I'm sorry. Can you learn how to drive on the MTSU campus? The whole thing about driving on the left-hand side of the road. Okay, again, in Japan, we drive on the left side of the road. And so it was quite the learning curve going to Japan, learning to drive, and then coming back to America and remembering that, okay, I have to be on the right side of the road, not the left side of the road. Even the car, the windshield wiper and the blinker are on different sides, at least in Japan. And so I still make that mistake. And I've been back for 7 years. I still get that mixed up. We do not teach campus. We do not have driver's ed on campus. But a lot of friends will teach you. Some of our students will get an international driver's license and then learn very slowly to do it. It's not impossible. You have to be conscious. I mean, you know, when you're driving, you get kind of in habit. You just can think about other things. When you're driving in a foreign country, you have to be driving cortically. You have to be thinking about what you're doing. Am I on the right side of the road? Do I turn right? Do I turn left? What side of the road when I'm turning left do I go to? All of that you have to constantly be thinking about, but it is not impossible. You will pick it up very quickly. Okay, there are a lot of links in this chat. So I'm actually going to leave this one. Please don't put your M numbers in. I don't know if I can delete that one chat that had an M number in it because this will be part of the recording. So if you need to take some of these links and copy them, please do that because these are really good links. We have links to the CLEP. We have links to the rec center and the swimming lessons. We have to internships. Yes. You have to be careful with handshake because as an international student on an F1 visa, you cannot work off campus. This is one of the things that will get you kicked off of out of the university and out of the United States very, very quickly. It's called unlawful employment. And if you are not careful and do not get permission before you work off campus, I will send you home. It is one of the very negative terminations that we have. So yes, the thing you have to be within, it has to be in service of the greater population of the student body. So working at the library, yes, the students are going to use the library. Working in Starbucks, yes, people are going to use Starbucks. We have a lot of construction going on campus. Any of those construction companies? No, you cannot work for any of them. That's considered working off campus. There's a few independent contractors that are on campus, like our food services Aramark, they hire a lot of students. That one is okay because you're only working on campus. Aramark also has different areas, different campuses. You cannot work on another campus and for the same company, Aramark. It has to be on the MTSU campus. There are special considerations to working off campus, and despite what you hear after 1 year, you can work off campus. No, you cannot without permission from our office. So there is a lot of information. There's a lot of second and third things that need to happen before you work off campus. So my advice to you as the primary DSO on this campus, do not work off campus. If we find out, I will terminate you and send you home. No questions, no second chances. So be very, very careful about that. Going down. Okay, from India, you do not need to give me English proficiency. I just need your high school transcripts. I need 4 years. I need school leaving certificate from India. I do not need English proficiency. Okay. All right, and again, if you are, nope, let me get your name. If you have been trying to contact our office, we've been out of the office since Friday. Our graduate analyst at the graduate level, she was out of the office on Friday. So we do our best to pick up when somebody's out, but we don't always get there. May I ask how I apply for a CVIS ID? Yeah, number one, you need to be admitted to the university. That's step one. Step two, you submit your finances after you've been admitted to the university, and then we will issue you the I-20. The I-20 is going to give you the CVIS ID that you need to take to the visa and make your visa appointment and then get your visa appointment. You did your visa application, sorry, and then you do your visa appointment. Starts with being admitted to the university. So my question to you is, have you applied to the university and have you submitted all of the documents we need for acceptance into the university? And again, please email me if you have a question. And is Indian food available at MTSU for Indian students? I'm going to say some. I know we do when we go to McCallie's, they almost always have something that's vegan. They have vegetarian. They have a lot of variety. They've done it. They've worked really hard at trying to make their food choices very diverse. I do know that the Indian Association, the Student Indian Association, is very, very active, and they will often host events with food. So you may want to get connected with them when you arrive on campus. They are very, very good about that. Can I send part-time money to our home? Yeah, that's your choice. Once you get paid, what you do with the money is based on you. Okay, I've been accepted. Which portal I have to use to show my financial documents? Okay, if you are a grad, I'm sorry, scratch that, back up a few minutes, a couple of seconds. I'm going to ask you, we have an email address, ISSSS, so International Student and Scholar Services at mtsu.edu. That is our immigration specialist, and she is the one who is handling the I-20s. So I'm sorry, my brain is still working. You can use two email, either the ISSS or the international @ and send. Thank you, I could. I could put the email address for this immigration specialist in the chat. This is the primary email for immigration documents. Toya is out of the office. As I said, she's at the conference. International is going to be monitored by myself, and either one of those will work. After you've been admitted, if you send your financial documents, we will get the I-20 to you. The scholarship for international students is based on priority by first come, first serve. The criteria for the scholarship is your GPA. The second one is getting your scholarship form back to us as soon as possible, because what we will do is take it in the order that they come. If you get your scholarship, you get your I-20, you get your visa, and you come, if we have a problem, we're going to look to see when you returned that form. So we're keeping track of the dates that the students have returned their forms. You need to get it back to us as soon as possible. The criteria is getting the GPA. Okay, I don't know what you call it in the United States, but here we call them school holidays between terms of semesters, as you are an international student allowed to tour and explore the US. Yes, if you are on summer break right now, as our students are, many of our students have gone home. They've gone home to their home countries. Some of them have simply, as you mentioned in the chat, just gone to travel in the United States. And if you have the funds to do this, I think it's a good idea. If you can go and travel within the United States, do that, because 4 years goes very quickly, and you don't want to go after your 4 years are up and say, gosh, I never went to New York. Oh, I never went to Texas. I never saw the Grand Canyon. Do the things you can do if you have the means to do it. If you are traveling outside the United States, you're going to need your I-20 signed, and we'll get into that when we get into orientation and a little further, as we know you're going to actually be on campus. Can I use campus facilities like the library even if I'm online? I believe you can. For the first 6 months, I believe you can. I believe you have library access. You just access it online. Yeah, there's also Google Scholar. If you're working online and you need scholarly articles, I used Google Scholar when I did my master's a lot. So that's another good one. As you said, we have Indian students do not require English test for admissions and visa. We require English. No. Yeah, the English test, the English proficiency test is for admissions and acceptance to the university. Okay. It's actually it's up to you to prove your English proficiency to the visa officer. That's not done by the test. They don't care whether you took the dual, the IELTS, or the TOEFL. They want to know that you have the ability to handle questions and answers in English during the visa interview. The English survey happens after you are accepted to the university to prepare you to come and take courses. The English survey is run by University College. What it does is gives you the level of English courses. So none of you are going to go into the same English course that all the Americans go into, and every American has to take English as well. You're not going to do that. It's too much for you to go into a course the same as every American student. So we have graduating levels of English courses to prepare you and get you ready to enter and go into that final English course that all the Americans take. So these are maybe 2, maybe 3 courses that you will take, depending on your level, getting you ready for that final class. So the English proficiency is after. It's after you've been accepted. Okay. We got more holidays on spring break. You can, yeah, oh, that's another interesting question. If you, so for spring break, probably, because spring break is only a week. Spring break is not a semester break. If you're on a semester break, winter or summer, you typically, if you're going to come back in so for you leave in December, you're coming back in January, generally you can leave everything there in your room. But if you are going from spring to fall, you're probably going to need to move out. So some of our students will put things in storage. Some of the students will, if they're going to be taking classes on campus, they might have to move to a different dorm for the summer and then move back to their main dorm in the fall when classes resume. It kind of depends. We do have one dorm that a lot of our students, our exchange students, stay because they don't leave during winter break, and they will tend to be in this one specific dorm. That's just a question you're going to want to talk to the people in housing if you're here on campus, but do prepare to move to a different dorm temporarily for the summer, for the winter break and spring break. I think spring, I don't know. I'm not sure. John, maybe you can put in the chat if you know any more about that. Generally, a question. Housing likes to handle their own questions. Then they're sure the information is correct. Same with me. I don't want you going to another student or another campus or the web to find an answer on immigration. I want you to come to us because we know the university, we know you. We're going to give you MTSU's answer. So I prefer if you have a specific question for housing, go to housing and have them answer that question. Okay. I think I'm losing myself. Okay. Scholarship I answered. College timings for MS Computer Science. I'm not sure what we mean by college timings. If you're asking about courses, that's going to be something you discuss with your advisor. How long it takes? Generally, the master's programs take 2 years, 4 semesters. Again, depends on your summer enrollment, how many credit hours you take. So, all right, we've been here for an hour, and I really didn't think it would take that long. I'm glad you guys are asking a lot of good questions. This gives us a lot of good information to know what we need to do next year. And thank you. I could, John, Quingshi, thank you guys for backing up whatever we're talking about with links. It's very, very helpful. And again, go through the links, check to see if there's information you need copies, bookmark it on your website, something, so you have this information when this webinar finishes. The English survey is only for undergrad. The placement test is only for undergrad. I want to say we're doing our next step webinar. I want to say the next one. I should have done that. If you were in the last webinar, I gave the schedule, and we should be publishing the schedule for June shortly. The next step webinar, I will clearly talk about what undergrad needs to do, what grad needs to do, what exchange students need to do. The English test, English survey, and the placement test are only for undergrad students, not grad. Okay. All right. Last call for questions. All right, great. So hold on one second. I want to get the next webinar. I think the next one is on the 7th. I believe on the 7th of June. I believe Matthew published on our Instagram the schedule. If he hasn't, then I will have him publish for the month of June all of the webinars and the links on Instagram and Facebook. So if you haven't followed our social media, please do. We have a lot of exciting things happening here on campus, and that's how you find out what we're really doing, what activities we have, what our staff is doing. So you should start seeing posts about NAFSA, where most of our staff is. Thank you, I could. See, I like these young people are really savvy in technology. I struggle to get my webinars going, but all right. Thank you, everyone. We're going to shut down now. We're going to let you go. Okay. Yeah, I saw you on and off. Again, our office is short-staffed. Everybody is out of the office except for John and I this week. So if you haven't gotten an answer, um, be patient. Make sure that everything you need for your graduate portal, everything has been fulfilled. If it has been fulfilled, then we send it over to the program. If your portal says pending, then we have sent it to the program. We have no information until the program sends it back to us. Okay, the other thing to remember is that sometimes if we say it's been fulfilled, it takes 24 hours for the portal, your side of the portal, to update. So we are changing to a new system. It is giving us problems, so we've delayed to the start of the new system, but no one's going to fix the old one until we get the new one going. So if it's glitchy, we're just all going to have to be patient until we get the new system up and running. Okay, that being said, please, if you have a question about a specific problem, reach out directly to us. Join us for the 7th, where we're going to talk about the visa, next steps, those kinds of things, what you need to do, what you don't need to do. And then we're also going to give you updates on the placement testing and customs, which coming up on June 10th. So some of you should have already received information from University College. If you don't have your MTSU email set up and you have been accepted, do that soon. You need to have your MTSU email set up, or you're not getting these emails from University College, you're not getting things from housing, you're not getting what you need if you don't have your MTSU email set up. And I will give you the link next week, but it's on the website on how to set these up. If you've received your I-20, the link is in the email on the I-20 email. Okay. All right. So I'm going to end this if I can find the button. Thank you all for joining us. We will see you on the 7th. If you have questions, email us directly. And we will see you in September. Thank you all. We'll see you again. Bye-bye.